early American synagogue music that was influenced by Central Europe are these list of composers. Stark and Schlesinger and a number of these other cantors actually were students of Sulzer. So they took Sulzer's method, Sulzer's style, and brought it to America. We're now going to hear Edward Starks sing joyfully. And you'll hear a very exuberant song that the choir sings. But notice when you hear this, the same things we heard about Central Europe that are happening in America, but now they're translating texts into English. So they're not singing songs in Hebrew or German, but they sing a lot of songs in English, and this is Sing Joyfully.
Sing joyfully to the Lord our strength. Rejoice, 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 sing joyfully to the Lord our strength. Rejoice, rejoice, before the God of Jacob. Sound the trumpet, sound the trumpet, sound the trumpet, sound the
Rabbi Isaac Mayer Weiss is a very important rabbi in Cincinnati. And in the 19th century, he establishes a congregation, and then he establishes some very important organizations for the Reform movement. One of them is Hebrew Union College, which developed in Cincinnati and then grew to being the seminary for the Reform movement in America. And now they have campuses in Los Angeles and, of course, still in Cincinnati, in New York, and also in Jerusalem. Isaac Mayer Weiss was a real firm believer that singing hymns was a very important part of the Jewish tradition. You can see in this statement that he feels that hymn singing is an important way that Jews can be emotional and be expressive during services. The story of hymnals in the 19th century is a quite interesting story, and in the Christian tradition, it's filled with hundreds of different hymnals. In the Jewish tradition, we can see hymnals that are established in the 19th century that come to America, but through Isaac Mayer Weiss's influence. The first American Union hymnal that was produced by Isaac Mayer Weiss was done in 1897. This had a very significant influence for many years. There was a second one done in 1917, but it really did not have a big impact. This first one had a very significant impact, and they would print the text of the song, the music of the song. These would be bound volumes. They would be put in the pews, and during services, people would take out these books, know the page, and they would sing these hymns. Here's a recording from the first Union hymnal in 1897. This is called Into the Tomb of Ages Past, and it's something that is sung on Rosh Hashanah. You can hear as this goes along, it's really the same melody from verse to verse. And as the melody's sung, even if you can't read music, the melodies become familiar and people sing along. So from 1897, here is now Into the Tomb of Ages Past from the Union hymnal.
Time unheeded take its flight, nor leave
The next hymn I would like you to hear is from the second Union hymnal. And what they did at this time was to try and expand some other influences. This is a very interesting one because they take a Sephardic melody. And remember that Sephardic Jews were the first Jews to come to America. They were in America, here in America, in the 17th century and the 18th century. So this is called O Star of Truth. It's a Sephardic melody, but a new hymn text is really added. And here you can hear the same type of hymn singing, which is a very steady rhythm. And again, if you don't read music, one would pick it up. While the Central European influence in America happens with people like Edward Stark and Schlesinger, who are writing new songs in the Central European, more secular style, at the same time, you have the Eastern European Jews coming in, and they start recording their music on records. We call this period the Great Cantorate of the Golden Age, and this covers the time period of 1880 to 1930. The time period of the significant migration of Jews coming from Eastern Europe. And during this time period, there are dozens of cantors that create wonderful recordings that people still listen today. They're recorded on 78s. Of course, you now can hear them digitally. And many cantors made a significant number of recordings. The most popular and most prolific cantor is Josela Rosenblatt. He's a part of this tradition, as well as dozens of other cantors. We're now going to hear Josela Rosenblatt singing in a psalm text, a song that he created for solo cantor and for a choir. And this is a psalm setting that is done for Hallel. And Hallel is said in synagogues on various holidays, like the 3 festivals such as Sukkot or Pesach. And we'll hear in this really wonderful recording how Rosenblatt uses the full aspects of his voice. He had a very large range and sang in a very, very high voice that's called the male falsetto, the very thin voice. And he had a very beautiful falsetto that he really controlled. What's really lucky is that he went to Israel in the early 1930s to create a movie. And we have footage of him singing. And there are just a couple examples of Rosenblatt. And this is a wonderful example where not only we can hear Rosenblatt, but we can also see Rosenblatt singing. And this is Min HaMetzar. Another way to tell the story of the Central European and Eastern European tradition coming into America is through a wonderful piece of theater that was done by Lowell Milken. This is called a cantor on trial, or a Heusen auf Probe, the trial of a cantor. And what you'll see in this is Lowell Milken presenting himself in the caricature of an Eastern European rabbi, and then a caricature of the Central European rabbi. Again, the stereotypes of emotive singing of the Eastern European rabbi, the more deliberate rhythmic singing of the Central European choir, and you'll hear how the committee deliberates on this. As we move from scene to scene in this video, Waldman is actually the narrator, so he plays many roles in this. The narrator, the three different cantors, the Central European cantor, the Eastern European cantor, and finally the third cantor is the American cantor, and you'll hear in this example how they express the American influence.
Brüder Chairman, ich will auch sagen, dass der Deutsch gefällt mir sehr, sehr stark nicht. Ich war schon im Ganzen eines von den Präsidenten, von den Leitpräsidenten, von den Sekretären und allem anderen Brüder. Ja, verstehe ich und keine versteht nicht im Deutsch. Ich bin zu sagen, dass jeder Deutsch ist besser als Galicianer. Galicianer? Fortin Galicie, gib mal Galicianen. A Litwa geht ihr euch, wenn seid ein Litwa. A Litwa will ich nicht erlauben. Und Sie? Weil mir versteht ihm nicht. Mir versteht ihm nicht? Nein. Das sagt ihr einer Success? Ich hab nicht erlauben. Ja, weiß ihr mir One minute, gentlemen, you darf das nicht kriegen. Ich hoffe, du wisst ihr sich. Abhalten, abtasten. Mit der Stimme, mit Personality, mit Pep. 1 minute wart noch in ihr sehen, was ihr tut. Sagt noch Meister, hey. Wer seid hier und was willst ihr, ah? Wer seid ihr? Ich bin sein Manager, das hat ich ihm aufgeführt. Oh, ist ein Feuerhaus. Hat ihr Mann. Hat eine Stimme, hat Metall und Holz. Hat Häusen, hat Hinten, hat Hinten. Das damit, ihr versteht an mir, will nicht ich weiß, was ihr will. Ja. Ihr will zu einem modernen Hafen, mit der Stimme, mit Pep, mit Jazz. Also gib mal so Konvidre mit der Two-Step-Melodie. Soll suchen Hallo mit der Rexheim-Melodie. Soll suchen in Zangeteuke mit der Flag-Bottom. 1 minute, gentlemen. Was rief ich im Ball daran, in ihr mit dem Ball sehe. Hey, Lebele, gib mir da eine her. Das ist der Hasen, das tut sich. Das ist der Hasen? Das ist nicht. Wait a minute. Hey, Lebele, do yourself a nothing day. Mach Moshe, du machst nach Kelko. Mach Moshe, du machst nach Kelko. Yismat Moshe, the Matna says go. Yismat Moshe, the Matna says go. Clear.
So we've now seen how the Central European and Eastern European traditions that come to America are existing first simultaneously in different places. And then there's a very interesting way in which they come together to form American synagogue music. And that's what we're going to hear and talk about next.